Hello, internet. Welcome. I haven't done a video like this in ages, I know. For those of you new to the channel, I used to do a whiskey video whenever we gained another 100 subscribers. So I started as 100, and then 200, 300, and well, you get the notion, right? You get the idea. And we finished at 900, and that's where I kind of left off. But now that I'm back into recording, I find that we have 1,500 subscribers. So naturally, I need to make up for missing 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. Well, you get it. So this has to be a special whiskey video, and we need a special whiskey. So I thought to myself, what should I do? And well, at first I thought, how about this? Wild Turkey Bourbon. Awesome whiskey, but I already know what this tastes like, although this is a new bottle. So and yeah, although this is a really good bourbon, it just wasn't outstanding enough. That's why I also disconsidered this one. This is Bullet Bourbon from, of course, Kentucky. Also very good Kentucky straight bourbon, but nothing outstanding. So I thought to myself, well, how about maybe this one? Gilors, which is a Hessian whiskey made right here in the region where I live. Interesting. Haven't tasted that one yet. It's bound to be something very interesting, but still not exceptional enough for what I was planning. So, next thing I came up with, how about Big Pete? This is, of course, a Scottish whiskey. It's a blend, and it's so peaty that it's going to knock my head off and just pour peat into whatever's left of me. Yeah, not a big fan of peaty whiskeys, so I thought, maybe I'll save that for another day. And then I thought, how about this? This one. This is Girvan, and this is a whiskey is 8 years old. And normally Girvan is a lot older, so this is a very early tasting set. Very special, naturally. Is that good enough for my viewers? Is that good enough for the 1,500 viewers video? No, it's not good enough. So I finally decided to open up this. Oh yes. As you can probably see by, the room I'm in, this is my little office where I work. Well, I'm kind of a heavy metal guy, and this, oh yes, is heavy metal whiskey. It's the Motorhead whiskey. Yes, whiskey, Motorhead. It comes together, it works together. So this is real Motorhead whiskey. Motorhead for life, as it says here. Deaf forever. Now, to all of you thinking, what is this? Surely it has to be a bourbon, right? No. Actually, I knew Lemmy. I had the privilege of meeting him 3 times, and every time I actually did meet him, and I'm not counting concerts where I saw him, I met him, having been a radio journalist for a very long time, and was always lucky enough to actually get to talk to him. And those were very nice talks, very long talks, and yes, he drank a lot. He usually drank whiskey coke, so Jack Daniels, so actually this should be a Tennessee whiskey. It's not. So the people who approached Motorhead, basically, now that Lemmy's gone, dead, this is kind of a goodbye wave. It's a present for him. And I guess if there is a heavy metal heaven, he's probably up there jamming and smiling. And he probably tasted this and said, "Wah, wah, wah, this is quite good." So, for all of you who are wondering, what exactly is this? Let's find out together. Is this some very cheap piece of shit that was just put into the bottle and they put a label on it? No, of course it isn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be showing it to you. So, here we have the bottle. Very classy bottle. And also, look at this color. This is a very, very dark whiskey. It was aged in bourbon casks. It has 40%. So, let me just read what it says here. It says, "A unique whiskey specially distilled and aged in the darkest of wine shafts to celebrate 40 years of the loudest rock and roll band to ever grace our ears. Enjoy Motorhead for life." Now, for all of you who are wondering, all right, if it's not bourbon, what is it? If it's not Tennessee, what is it? It has to be a Scotch. It's not. Irish? No. Well, what other great whiskey nation do we have? Well, it could be Japanese, but once again, you would be wrong. Who else does whiskey? Well, the Germans do. Do they like Motorhead? Yes, they do. Very much so. But, no, once again. This is a Mackmyra. And although Mackmyra sounds distinctly Scottish, it's not. It's not Canadian either. No, it's Swedish. Now, I've never tasted Mackmyra before, but I've read of it. Where? In here. This little book, by the way, 101 Whiskies to Try Before You Die, second edition, is, well, I wouldn't say the absolute truth about whiskey, but it's a very nice and a very well-written book. It's a lot of fun to read. And there are a lot of very interesting suggestions in here, and some of them I actually knew nothing of, so I followed them and hunted them down and drank them up. And yes, he's right. This is not a best-of list, by the way. There are whiskies in there where he actually admits, no, these are not that good, but they're interesting, and you should just taste them just to know. So Mackmyra's in here. And Mackmyra, actually, in here, looks a lot lighter. So these bourbon casks, well, I don't know how old he actually is, because it doesn't say. It just says aged, and that's it. No idea. Doesn't say. Anyhow, now, Mackmyra, the standard Mackmyra, is described in here. Color pale gold, which this is certainly not. This is very dark amber. Then it says this is fruity with citrus, pear, apple, honey, light oak, and cereal notes. That's the nose. Then the taste, once again, is orange, lemon, caramel, and honey, and a light suggestion of oak may be noted. Now, this thing has been in bourbon casks, and from the color of it, because this is not colored, it seems, quite for a long time, I would estimate that this thing is at least 10 years old, which means there should be a lot more oak in there. Well, let's see. The finish, by the way, according to this book, of standard Mackmyra is of dark chocolate. Now, naturally, after so much talking, the only thing we can do now is basically we'll sit down, relax, and in the end, try this thing and see how it, well, harmonizes with our palate, right? Now, the first thing we need to do is naturally we need to pry it open, which is not so easy, unfortunately, because this thing is kind of like glued together to have this very black thing on top of it. Let me see if I can get this off. Do I have something to open it with? Of course I do, because I'm prepared, you know. Thanks, people of Switzerland. Even the smallest work fine. So, now that we're getting this open, I've got a glass here, and naturally, it's a tasting glass. It's a nosing glass because you don't want to use anything else, right? For all of you who haven't watched my very first whiskey video, you should, because that's where I talk about stuff like that. Alright. Here we go. Ready? Set. Oh, and already the smell. Ooh, bottle is really quite far away from me, and ooh, the smell. Alright, but let's not get prejudiced. But let's fill this sucker up. And now. It is not very oily, but it is oily. Not too much, but to a considerable extent. To a satisfying extent, because I think whiskey shouldn't be too watery. Now, we're not going to mix this with water. I never do that on my first tasting. But for those who don't know, if you taste a whiskey and you have the feeling there's more hidden in there, always add a drop of cold water. No ice. Alright. Yes, it certainly smells of orange and lemons. There's a certain wheatiness and a certain sweetness as well. Considering this is from Sweden, I was actually expecting something, I don't know, more grass, more trees maybe, some moose, but no. But this smells very amiable. All right, everybody ready? Cheers. Oh, yes. Wow. Yes, and dark chocolate, definitely. So in the taste, wow, there's like millions of different tastes, hints exploding in me right now. This is amazing. So there is lemon in it. There's a hint of orange. There's oak, but not very subtle. So it's not that the wood hits you right in the face. There are bourbons where you go like, oak, just screaming at you. This one, not so much. You have a hint of sherry. You sure those are bourbon casks? I would have sworn there was some Oloroso in there. But it says it was aged in bourbon casks. And the bourbon casks are always new. There's nothing in there. Wow. Yes, but sherry. And what did the book say? I didn't see any of this. Very strange. So there are no cereal notes in here. Absolutely not. No oat or anything like that. There is apple, there is pear. There's a bunch of other fruit. I would swear that there's a hint of sherry and cherry, therefore, in there. Yeah. I would actually also put some blueberries in here. Wow. There's a hint of, I would call that fruitcake. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the finish is definitely, it's chocolatey. You have this feeling of very dark, sweet. I wouldn't exactly say honey. There's no burning sensation. So a lot of rather cheap whiskeys have this burning, this fiery, hot scratchiness sometimes. This one does not at all. This is very sweet, very smooth, Well, I wouldn't call it very sweet. It's sweet and deep and very smooth, very, very friendly to the palate. The tongue is really being hugged here. Wow. So the taste sensation actually beats the smell by far, which is a good thing. There are a lot of whiskeys who smell extremely good, and then when you taste them, you're rather disappointed. This is the other way around. The smell hints at a lot of good things. There's raisin in here too. The smell hints as... Oh, maybe that's why they said cereal notes. You can smell kind of like raisins and... Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit of wheat too. Thinking of it, I'm actually... I wouldn't say glad that Lemmy is not drinking this anymore, but he would have mixed this with Coke. That would have been a disgrace. Sorry, Lemmy. Sorry, Lemmy. Wherever. Anyhow, 1,500 subscribers. Thank you very much. I will continue to do whiskey reviews. This one... They did not make that many bottles, so should you see one below $100, buy it immediately. Immediately. It's absolutely worth... Hey, if you see it for $200, still buy it. This is absolutely worth the money. Wow. Well, anyhow, I'm going to continue to make whiskey videos. I'm continuing to make audiobooks, and I'm also going to continue to Let's Play. There's going to be more Sniper Elite. I will finish Oblivion someday. We're at almost 600 videos now. I guess when I finish Knights of the Nine, which is the last thing to do in this game, I'll probably be at, I don't know, 700? Is that the longest Let's Play on YouTube? I kind of hope so. I will continue to do Skyrim, and then let's see what I will play next. Who knows? Well, cheers to all of you out there. I hope you enjoyed this, and get the whiskey if you can.